What is going on, everybody? It is episode 647 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and we are back. I am here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. I hope you all enjoyed your holiday weekend. We did not lose any fingers. No maimings have happened. No injuries to report. I hope that the same can be said for you.
Yeah, no, I'm good. So I did, there was twice I went skating and forgot my splint. So I just went and I went and bought another one and just put it in the car.
Amazing. So that's going to do a lot of good.
Well, no, because I have to take my car to go skating. So theoretically, it'll always be with me.
Okay, you're not going to leave it in the car.
No. The point is that it's always there. I don't have to turn around and go back.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that you all enjoyed America's birthday. America is officially 2024 years old today.
Exactly.
So that's great. I see those memes every year.
People are going to be fact checking hard on that one.
Yeah, I know. I'm ignorant of our history, but and what better way to celebrate America's birthday than voting MrBeast for Prez 2024?
Yeah, we are.
I can't think of anything more patriotic than getting an influencer into the White House.
Look, I abhor the idea that youth brings good ideas to politics, which is a big part of it for a lot of people. But if it meant turning the whole like funding apparatus of the U.S. into like a Squid Games thing where like foreign countries had to compete for U.S. foreign aid.
Yeah, I like this already.
I'm kind of down.
Yeah.
Like I'm down. So that's one thing that we're going to talk about today. But guys, before we get started, would you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed here yet already? We have passed 121,000 subscribers, so thank you very much for that. Money guns are already malfunctioning, so we are off to a fantastic start.
They are? Mine's fine.
They both went off at the same time. They're not supposed to do that. So I have to fix that.
Yeah, we're like kind of going through PTSD flashbacks of Hour and 38 Gate. That happened a while back.
Hour 18.
Is it Hour 18? Okay, Hour 18.
That could still happen.
Could still happen. We have still no idea why that happened in the first place, but OG Crisis Actors remember.
So what happened is when I uploaded, or when I got all the tabs and everything ready today, all the video files were saying cannot load video, which is very reminiscent of whether there's a memory leak on Brave or whatever it is. We'll wait and see if the stream just magically gets cut off. If the stream just gets magically cut off at an hour and 18 minutes, we'll know that we spoke too soon, even if it's a year and a half later. You can't escape the problem. But guys, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. Also, remember, all super chats $20 and over. We will interrupt the discussion. We will read those super chats right then and there, and then we will do our best to get back on topic. One of those topics being MrBeast kind of went viral, I mean, for a couple of reasons recently, but he said that if they would lower the age to be president, the required age to be president, he would, in fact, be happy to run for office. And we'll get into that, whether that's a good idea or not. But we're also going to talk about She-Hulk, not the show, but actress Tatiana Maslany. She thinks that the government owns your kids. Yes, she does. That's all I'm going to say right there. We'll talk about it more during the segment. Also, PewDiePie, he is under fire because having a family makes you a Nazi.
Yep.
Loving your wife and child makes you a Nazi.
He's in his loving husband and father era, and that made a lot of people angry.
They're not happy with that.
It's racist.
So we got that. We got a bunch of other stuff. Sarah will be with us tomorrow. She had something going on today, so she will be with us tomorrow, which is why whenever it's just us, I put just us, frowny face.
We're going to do that every two-person show now.
Every single time. So
a tradition.
If you are ready, we can just get started. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Might as well.
I hope the computer is ready. Well, that's all I'm hoping.
I have like a disconnect where it's like, so I had a lot of jobs in my lifetime. I didn't like all of them. I wouldn't say that I hated any of them, but they weren't jobs that I loved.
Okay.
I do love my job, so I still have this disconnect after a long weekend where I kind of dread going back to work, and then I have to remind myself I don't hate going to work.
You know what? After this, I'm going to work at Raytheon or Lockheed Martin for sure. So
Lockheed, Raytheon.
Yeah, bigger and better things are coming soon.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. And speaking of the 4th of July and America's birthday, Zuck's promotional team is out here still working to repair his image.
I mean, it didn't need to be repaired. He just, he has a modicum of coolness now that he didn't before.
What is he drinking there?
I am not totally sure.
I'm muting the songs because
this is Mark Zuckerberg wearing, I suppose, a waterproof tux, doing the jet ski with the American flag for July 4th.
That's by the way, if you don't know,
idea what he's sipping.
that song is anti-American propaganda. Just remember that.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
So, but
this is like leveling up from the same video that he made last year,
which was just
also
him.
people loved. But he leveled it up by wearing the tux and the sunglasses this time around.
He loves it. He loves
Yeah.
it. It's what happens when you have too much time on your hands and you don't marry like the Robo Bimbo.
I don't think Zuck has that much time on his hands. He works hard.
Doing what? Selling our data to China? Really? How much time does that take?
It's hard work. It's hard work.
It's hard work to sell your data to China and try to have Biggie Smalls concerts in the metaverse.
Yeah, he's building the metaverse. I don't know. He should have done this and like did a side by side where he's doing it in the metaverse and in the real world.
That would have been a good
to show everybody that you can be patriotic in the metaverse.
Okay, that would be that would be okay. I still agree. I deleted my Facebook like 3 years ago. It's like the best decision I ever made.
I tried to delete my Facebook. It did not work.
Okay, so here's the thing. I deleted it in like 2021. I wanted to delete it in like 2019 and just like took forever to get around to actually looking up all the steps to do it.
See, this is why I don't think privatizing the DMV would make it easier because of how difficult it is to delete a Facebook account. I think it would be just as bad.
You know what's even harder? Trying to like cancel your Amazon Prime subscription. It's like, do you want to cancel? Yes, you hit yes. It says, are you sure? It moves it up to the corner.
It like gives you the suicide hotline number.
Tiny. It's like this big. You have to use a microscope.
Moving around. You have to chase it around the screen.
Which is weird because you can get pretty much anything money like if it's not super expensive. Like the other day I buy these like the sparkling ice, like the flavored waters, and it delivered it, didn't show up either, porch pirate or something. I don't think that's what happened, but it went to the wrong house, never got it. It doesn't ask for like any proof of any sort. You just say didn't get it. They're like, would you like a new one or would you like a refund?
That's awesome.
They make it really easy to get refunds on Amazon Prime because they just making so much money.
They don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. It would cost them more to waste their employees' time doing research into whether it actually went missing or not.
Yeah.
So, but Zuckerberg isn't the only one that's kind of old school. I consider him old school. I do. Nobody uses
old
Facebook.
School? What do you mean?
Nobody uses Facebook anymore. Old people use Facebook.
True.
Old people like The Sopranos, which is important. Like that segue.
It was a great segue.
The official Sopranos X account dunked on Joe Biden and didn't just dunk on him, pinned the tweet.
I'm surprised by this.
I had to double check.
Does Drea De Matteo run this account?
I don't think so.
Because she's super pro-Trump, so I would expect that from her. But yeah, Biden put out this tweet letting everyone know that he's not going to be replaced as the nominee. And The Sopranos posted this still from the show. If you got to keep saying you're the boss, you're not the boss.
And he's absolutely right about that. So I had to double check to make sure that it was the right account. That was their official account. It is.
I verified it's true. And you know what? They can take that away from him, but he's always going to be a strong, independent black woman in my mind.
Who?
Biden.
Oh yeah, well that's fine. Did you see he was? It's so weird to see so much negative press around him now from like mainstream outlets that I kind of just tune it out.
It's starting to feel weird because remember in 2016 and even in 2020 how the media was so hysterical over Trump. They were so afraid of him getting elected.
They still are.
I mean, I don't see that nearly as much actually. I think that they've accepted that he is in line for the throne. They're not entirely that, they seem nonplussed about it. And I don't see much hysteria about Trump now.
In the chat, Killer Gorilla says, "Yeah, you can't unsee that debate." See, that's the I actually disagree. The media is fantastic at eliminating bad things that have happened by simply not talking about it.
Yeah, if they wanted to memory hold it, they would, but they don't.
But
it's not in their interests.
So
right?
you have to
now
ask
I'm suspicious.
why.
Yeah.
Is it because Tony Soprano's in line to become the president?
Maybe.
Sadly, James Gandolfini.
No, they're setting it up for MrBeast.
Yes.
To show up at the DNC.
That would be hilarious. And they're like, well,
the biggest hoodwink.
We'll lower the voting age.
He's going to take all the Zoomer votes away from Trump. It'll be a landslide.
I mean, is he really getting all that many Zoomer votes? Is Trump really getting?
Is Trump getting Zoomer votes? I mean, there are so many Zoomers who weren't old enough to vote for him in 2016, and some of them not even old enough to vote for him in 2020.
Yeah.
That, judging at least by the way that male Zoomers are going to vote, He has a significant portion.
Yeah, I did see that the graph keeps going around showing you like the demographics of the voting structure in this country, which is like 68% of unwed women vote Democrat. And
I don't think the Zoomer girls are crazy about Biden.
I mean, he kind of wins by default based on abortion policy.
True.
Like they'll win. They'll win. Like that's all they need to focus on right now is.
Also, young people don't vote, so I don't even know what we're talking about.
Well, no, I thought they said like in 2020 there was like historic numbers of youth vote for the first time.
Be like 2 instead of 1.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
80 million votes, my
80 million votes, my ass.
And speaking of
reminds me of my favorite song.
Speaking of cringy conservative things, you did have the opportunity to be on the new norm. I saw, and you missed it. This is what you get for not checking your DMs.
You know what? I need to pull that up right now.
Pull it up right now. I can't believe you didn't do this.
Actually, it's a monumental moment, and I should have seen this when we covered the new norm originally, but. In case you missed this, guys, I posted the screenshots on my ex. The new norm actually wanted to hire me, little old me, for a voice role on the show, and I totally missed it because I didn't check my DM requests, and that's just
I just pulled up the Velocipaster thing by accident. Sorry.
Oops.
Did you send it to me? I was gonna.
No, I have it pulled up here, but let me send you the link.
Guys, I watched the Velocipaster over the weekend.
Yes, yeah, you're gonna need to do some explaining on that.
Well,
you can't just drive by
He's a priest who gets cut by a magical artifact that helps him turn into a dinosaur when he's angry, and then he kills drug dealers and ninjas.
I'm kind of surprised that I hadn't heard about it. But.
And it's a masterpiece, and everybody should watch it. Everyone.
Okay, so you got the tweet
it.
now. So they DM'd me and said, "Can we hire you to voice the character of Chloe in the animated sitcom The New Norm?" This is the teenage daughter of Norm.
You would have been perfect for that.
And that was back in April. So this, I'm convinced, was not entirely made by AI if they were looking for a human voice actor. Yep. And then 2 days later, "Hi, Mary, still interested?" 2 days later, "Mary, we would like to hire you to voice 9 short lines on your existing equipment for an animated clip for our show." And then another day after that, in April, "We are going into production. Please reply."
You should have done it.
They were simping for me.
You should have done it.
And I said I missed a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, all because I didn't open my DMs. But I only checked because I was trying to send a message to their account. I want to know who's behind it.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hey, I'm sorry I didn't see your messages, but if you see this, I really want to have whoever is behind this production on the show. Let me know what we can work out." Like, but I don't know if they're willing to reply now.
Yeah, they might.
Now it's bad blood.
There might be a little bit of woman scorned or show scorned.
But look, it's not my fault that your show ended up sucking. And I saved my reputation by not being a part of it.
You would have elevated the material.
I would have. I could have saved this show from being as bad as it was. It might have still been ass, but, you know.
But with a bright spot in the middle.
Like one tiny bright spot.
All right. You're going to have to tell everybody what's going on with this story.
Yeah, well, I was aware that
I sent this to you over the week. I thought you'd find this fascinating, but you already knew about it.
Yeah. There's a millennial saint on the way, reportedly. The Vatican has delayed the canonization of to-be Saint Carlo Acutis. He's currently a blessed, but they're calling him God's influencer.
Do you want to explain what a blessed is?
Yeah, so there are different stages in the process of someone being canonized as a Catholic saint.
Okay.
So, first they're named a venerable, then they are beatified. That's when they become a blessed. And then after blessed is the actual canonization of that person as a saint.
So he's a blessed right now.
Currently he's a blessed, and that's as of 2020.
So who is Carlos?
So Carlo is, or I guess was,
Carlo.
a 15-year-old Italian Catholic.
And he died of leukemia, right?
Yeah, he died young of leukemia very suddenly. But it's interesting that they're calling him God's influencer, or perhaps the first influencer saint. A lot of people are calling him the patron saint of the internet, which I thought already existed. But he would be the first and will be the first millennial saint because he was born in 1991.
Are there any Gen X saints?
I don't think so.
The forgotten generation didn't get any?
Let me look this up because I feel like I would have heard about that.
I need to know if there is it's like the patron saint of come in when the lamps come on.
Gen X saint. Okay, this says one notable example is Chiara Badano, an Italian teenager born in 1971 who died in 1991.
Okay.
Beatified in 2010. Okay, so that I assume would be the first Gen X saint. And then there's another one, Emily de Villar, French nun, patron. Oh no, she's considered a patron saint relevant to Gen X. Okay, so she's not Gen X herself.
Okay.
I guess there must be just that one example, but I'm not aware. But Carlo Acutis would be the first millennial saint.
It even sounds like a saint name.
You think?
It does.
I mean, it just sounds Italian. That's all. That's the only
Maybe that's
reason,
what it
right?
is. It just sounds very Italian.
But he was born in London. But I am excited for this. I actually want to attend his canonization. They say it's going to be sometime next year.
Where would that happen?
Probably the Vatican.
And just travel out to the Vatican for it?
I literally would. Yes. Yeah. Yes, I would.
Make a video for the channel.
Definitely.
Make a video for the channel.
But here's the thing. I don't take issue with the idea of there being a millennial saint. Like, obviously that was bound to happen at some point. But I'm sorry. Carlo Acutis was not an influencer.
Okay.
He was a web developer. You could definitely say he's relevant to the internet, and they call him a computer whiz and everything. He wasn't an influencer. He died in 2006. You can't be an influencer prior to social media being a thing, right? Well, MySpace was around, right?
Yes.
By that point, but he wasn't on MySpace.
And Friendster was around before that.
If he had a ton of friends on MySpace, maybe I could consider it, but I just don't think of him as an influencer.
There's a $20 one there from Pop Culture Junkie.
He said, having hired a lot of voice actors in my time, Mary, you should consider voice acting work as a side hustle. You definitely have the chops.
There you go.
Is it because I expressed myself?
Yes. And you should put that on your resume. You should put that on your resume.
I mean, I think that I could do it.
You could.
I would want to try my hand at it.
You absolutely could.
Why? Just because the way that I say hell.
Well, you're a very good reader, and that's with enough time to work on the lines. It is a skill. I mean, reading out loud is actually a skill set, one that I don't possess. Which is okay with me. That's, I remember early on in the early days of this show, someone's like, how can you do a show about this stuff when you can't read? I'm like, that's a very good question, my friend. I ask myself that every day.
That's okay. I'll read more. But I would love to. I just don't want to be on the new norm. I'm sorry. I've got to be choosy with the work.
Maybe they'll make a sequel called The Old Norm, and you can see if things have improved.
Well, it would have to depend on how much they're willing to pay me. Maybe season 2. We'll see how it goes.
How the numbers look?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I want to talk to you guys about this thread that went viral over the weekend. So
Absolutely
imagine for a second that you're in a loving relationship. You have a significant other and you want to share things with her. And she wants to share things with you. She wants to know your favorite music, your favorite artists, even your favorite movie. Well, if that movie is Miami Vice from Michael Mann in 2006, apparently you just don't deserve to be alive, according to Twitter.
If your favorite movie is Miami Vice, you're a terrible person.
Yes.
You're heteronormative. What else? Okay, so this came up because a guy named Brandon Strusig said, GF asked me to show her my favorite movie tonight, probably the most important step in the relationship, no going back now, and then posted with it a clip from Miami Vice.
What's funny about this is I just posted about this the other day that I had rewatched this film, and I'm like, thank goodness I missed all of the random hate online, because I've always loved this movie. I already see the people in the chat dunking on the movie. I don't care. I will never care. I love this movie. There's a lot of really interesting think pieces written about Michael Mann's early use of digital cameras, how it relates to shooting at night and things like that. All the dorky stuff that I enjoy reading about. I very much enjoyed this film. It makes more sense this time around. I don't remember it making a whole lot of sense when I was younger, and I never really cared. I loved it anyways. I think part of it was that it was shot in the middle of a hurricane, and there are shots that they would just never be able to get now.
Okay. I've never seen it, which surprises no one. But I was just surprised at the amount of backlash that this poor guy received after tweeting this. No quarter will be given, as she's named on Twitter
said she works for the Guggenheim.
Straight men live on a completely different planet than the rest of us. Who is this?
What the hell does sexuality have to do with liking a Michael Bay movie from 2006?
So she got a lot of backlash just for saying this, because apparently in order to like Miami Vice, you have to be a heteronormative straight male. And her distaste for the movie just, it blossomed into something much bigger than that. She followed this up and doubled down on her take, saying, I said what I said, and you don't have to agree. Irrespective of him, I do think straight people generally have bad taste. The movie is bad. That is my opinion, just like this is yours. That is not a value judgment. What part of this doesn't click for you?
What I don't get about this is what is it about his sexuality that makes that the reason he likes this movie?
Allow me to explain. She said, I have seen it. I don't like it, but that's okay if you do. There's a real disconnect here. I do not have to like the movie, and it's okay if I think it's emblematic of bad taste, especially bad taste a lot of heteronormative culture exemplifies. As a straight woman, so she's straight. Mm-hmm. She is straight, and she is railing against the mediocrity that is prized by heteronormative culture. Prime example being Miami Vice. She also said, if you know that...
It's because there's two heterosexual relations. Technically, there's three. So you have both Crockett and Tubbs have relationships, and Gong Li's character is also intimate with the drug lord. So technically, there's three heterosexual relationships, and that's three too many for her.
She also explained there's a ton of writing on the aesthetics of heterosexuality and how bad it can be. It's literally 97 or more % of the global population. That's not an aesthetic. That's just humanity.
I also love how...
She said, this movie is emblematic of that aesthetic/audience. I say this as a straight woman. You disliking what I said is a you problem.
What's funny is then people started spamming the comments with specific lines from the movie. All that tells me is the movie's extremely quotable.
Which, to its credit,
that is the hand we have been dealt at 11:47 o'clock on Saturday night. I'm like, yes, I love that line. And the funny thing is there's also funny stories about this movie, which is mainly that Jamie Foxx wasn't the top billed actor initially, but then became the top billed actor because he just won an Oscar for was it for Ray? So then he started bitching about not getting enough credit and wanted to be higher on the card and stuff like that. But here's the other thing. So I just decided to Google Miami Vice 2006. Now there's all of these articles that are going back through. It's maybe we should revisit this movie. Maybe it says Miami Vice. We revisit Michael Mann's divisive big screen adaptation. On second thought, Michael Mann's Miami Vice is actually awesome. You need to stream the most underrated crime thriller of the century for free ASAP. There's people who are going back through with different lenses and reassessing their thoughts on the film. And that's okay. It's just you don't have to tie it to sexuality because that makes no sense.
Well, it's very 2016.
Yes.
Analysis. But what was so controversial about it at the time?
Okay, so I mean, look, it doesn't capture the magic of the crime genre the way Heat does, which is obviously to be Michael Mann's, top billed work would be the movie Heat. It's not as good as Collateral, which came out 2 years prior, which is a completely different type of film. I saw one critique that says this is basically just a really long episode of Miami Vice. I'm like, yeah. It's a movie based on a TV show. That's literally what it is. Okay? I love this movie, and I just think it's hilarious that
a lot of people were saying that Miami Vice is better than Heat.
Yeah.
In the comments. That might be a little bit too far.
I would say that Miami Vice has a third. It isn't as strong as a film. I'm one of those people where I've always loved the movie Heat, but I didn't appreciate it in full until I got older. Meaning that when I was younger, for some reason, when I was, I think I saw the movie when I was 10 or 11, right? And I always remember the movie ending after the bank robbery shootout, which is what that movie's famous for. But that's only the end of the second act. There's a whole third act to the film that I didn't appreciate till I got older because all I thought about when I was young was guns, shooting, cool. Right? Yeah. So I didn't appreciate the entirety of the film until later. But to say that it's like the worst movie yet, to say that Miami Vice is the worst movie ever is ridiculous. I
don't even think she was saying that. I think she just wanted to talk shit about straight men.
Yes.
And used Miami Vice as an excuse to do so, and then doubled down to the point where it was just embarrassing.
In the chat, John Z says, I watched Miami Vice more than I watched Baywatch. I don't know if you're talking about the TV show or the movie adaptations. You could be talking about either. Both of them have film adaptations that came out later. I do recommend everyone go back and rewatch it, and perhaps like when I rewatched it recently, I was like, I actually tweeted, I said, was there a different cut? Because I had it on DVD. I didn't see Miami Vice in the theaters, and I wasn't sure if the cut I was watching on DVD was different than the one that I watched that was on Netflix, but the one I watched on Netflix made a hell of a lot more sense than I remember it making when I was younger. But maybe I was just dumb. I mean, I'm still dumb, but maybe I was dumber back then.
Yeah, maybe.
So, whatever it is, guys, like whatever the hell you want, and don't let anybody say that you can't like something because it's heteronormative. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it should be heteronormative, honestly.
All right. Oh, and no, will Heat 2 be any good? I have my doubts.
When's that?
They're making a prequel based on so he wrote a book prequel to Miami to Heat that's about the early life of Macaulay, who's the bad guy in the movie, who's the bank robber in the movie, and the movie is based on the book adaptation about the prequel. I think Adam Driver's attached, but press X to doubt and hold out hope. All right, let us move on then, shall we? Time to talk about a Tuah documentary.
Yeah, I didn't really entertain the idea of the Tuah meme being a psyop originally, but it is escalating to the point where we have another everything I don't like is a psyop moment on our hands, because Haley Welch, the girl at the center of the Tuah meme, is getting her own reality TV show and maybe even a documentary. We have a clip of something that looks like a very seriously produced documentary about this girl and her hometown.
Let's watch the clip here first. I'm gonna have to mute it in places because I think we're gonna get dinged for the music. But
well, we'll see.
Here we go.
I'm Haley, and I'm
You need to capture it in all of its glory.
It's a little small area near Lewisburg.
Like why? Like she. What is the relevance?
It's really been a blessing.
And there's your friend, of course.
It's crazy.
It's Granny Tuah.
Granny Tuah.
It's too much to comprehend.
Yeah, I really had no idea that one night in Broadway, having fun with your friends and everything else would change your whole life around.
When are her and Hannah Barron gonna collab?
Hopefully never.
I think the whole community did that with the Daily Mail. Somebody they didn't know come in asking questions about somebody we all care about. So everybody kind of went into protection.
Why is this a thing?
It's just such a funny thing to imagine that they're all reading this article, but it's about the content of what she actually said. That's hilarious.
How does Granny Tuah feel about the fact that her grandbaby was talking about sucking D?
Yep.
On the streets of Broadway at 3 a.m. How does she feel about that? I want to know.
Granny Tuah was the one who advised her to
Is Granny Tuah the one who passed down such sage wisdom to her grandbabies?
Yes.
I just want her to stay with me as long as I'm here.
Fuck is this?
She does have an endearing small town girl quality about
They're just
her.
showing a bunch of clips of her town. It has nothing to do with her.
I'm saying when she's on screen,
Okay.
she has an endearing small town girl quality about her.
No longer, because, you know,
She's moving.
She's going to be
she's not.
getting a deal in Hollywood of some kind for her reality TV show.
Yes.
That's what TMZ reports. They say her viral fame is not the only factor drawing in Hollywood. We're told they also find her relatable and humorous, traits they say she showcased on her recent Barstool appearance.
Okay, this is what I was saying to you. I said, look, it's on one hand, it is possible that everything is a psyop. On the other hand, sometimes you get lucky and somebody goes viral who actually does have a bunch of qualities that they're looking for, meaning that she's irreverent, she's funny, she's good with fake it till you make it, so she can kind of just make jokes and go along with it,
We
right?
got a $20 from Alfred LaRock. Mary, Catch Me Outside chick made $50 million on OF, zero nudity. You should start a channel reading the Bible in sundresses and rompers. If you do it barefoot, you'd have a simp army big enough to retake Jerusalem for Christendom. I am never going to do that.
I didn't think
ever. Literally ever.
There's two
But
more
thanks
there.
for the unsolicited advice.
There's 2 more there.
We have another 20 from Nitro Laser X5. Speaking of psyops, Mary, when are you going to admit that you're a Nepo baby? We all know that your dad cozied up to Tim Pool to get your job.
Is that what happened?
It's exactly what happened. Yeah.
Did Nepo babies often get in bar fights?
That's, an origin story that people heard on another day. But the real truth is that my dad went to Tim and offered him a deal that he couldn't refuse. That's the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deal you can't refuse.
I see all sent another 20 saying Violet Brandani's name came up on the show last week and we all know where you stand on that issue. But hypothetically speaking, if you were to allow Violet to come on, what rules or conditions would you impose on her? She would have to delete the OnlyFans permanently before coming on the show. That's the condition. So if she's willing to do that, then we'll talk.
Okay.
How about that?
In the comments, John Z says, when you become this famous this quickly for something stupid like that, it usually ends badly. Well, that's what I'm saying,
Well, it's
right?
like winning the lottery.
Sometimes you get lucky and you
Yeah.
find somebody who actually can live up to what is being built around them. Now, is that the case here? I have no idea.
Remember that guy who was really short and he had he had a full mental breakdown in a bagel shop?
No.
You don't remember that? It went super viral. He was really angry at someone at this bagel shop and he was
When
very
was this?
short. It must have been years and years ago at this point, but he became really famous for some reason after that and then totally went off the rails. People just started calling him Bagel Guy. Wait, let me look him up and see what happened to him.
Instant fame is never a good idea.
It was back in 2019. His name was Chris Morgan, same last name. Actually, that's my dad, is Angry Bagel Guy. So wait, there's no way that he's 5'11". He's definitely shorter than that. He gained widespread attention after a series of viral videos showed him ranting about women not wanting to date men under 5 feet tall in the bagel shop
But he's
in Bayshore,
5'11".
New York.
What's he
He's
care?
not 5'11". He is
Okay,
definitely not.
You know how I know he's not 5'11"? Because he's not saying he's 6
He's
feet.
under 5 feet.
I'm saying, but if he was 5'11", he'd be saying he's 6 feet.
Exactly.
So he's 4'11".
I'm gonna need to find that video because I feel like you should have seen this.
There's a $20 one right there.
Oh, from Dalamar. Is that how it is?
Dalamar?
Dalamar. I worked bars/clubs in cities for 5+ years. 15 years ago, there are thousands of these girls. Put a mic/camera in front of them. They have fun joking around and being vulgar. Funny watching this take off because we forget the past.
Yeah, I saw people arguing about whether America is more degenerate now than it was 15 to 20 years ago, and I actually laugh because I don't think America is more degenerate now than it was 15 to 20 years ago. I think it was more condensed down by industry back then. Now you see more of it because of OnlyFans.
Thank you. Look, I don't think it's OnlyFans. It's literally just statistically true that things are more morally denigrated now, like at least in terms of sexual morality.
15 years ago, we were far less puritanical than we seem to be these days. People seem to
In
want
terms
to
of
name and-
humor, sure. In terms of the kind of jokes that you can make, I totally agree. But in terms of sexual morality, there were still at least certain traces of Christian societal norms back then that are non-existent today.
I feel like that's actually okay. So that's not what I think.
I sent you the video.
What I
just so you
think
know.
is that nowadays that's been eroded because the whole discussion now is about whether it's a woman creating content for herself, whereas 15 years ago it was about men making sexual, men with, promoting sexualized content from women. Now it's about whether the man or the woman is the one who's making money off of it.
Because it's about power dynamics
Yes.
and consent.
But back then, it was just male corporate executives promoting this type of behavior. Now the women get to do it themselves. They've democratized it, as a matter of fact.
I think probably worse.
Okay.
Because it was at least a barrier to entry to prostitution before. But yeah, this guy at the bagel shop is like the original Hawk Tuah, honestly.
Why is it okay for women to say, oh, you're 5 feet on dating sites? You should be dead? That's okay?
Who said that to you here? Nobody.
Women in general have said it on dating sites. You think I'm making that up? Everywhere I go, I get the same smirk with the biting lip. Shut your mouth. You're not God or my father or my boss. Dude, you want to step outside? You want to step outside? Huh? I'm not scared of you, pal. Enough. You shut up, too. Just like go ahead and attack me, big.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I just
It's not a fair fight at all.
I recorded the whole
There's a reason they have weight classes.
So yeah, that was the original Hawk Tuah. I think they should collab, actually.
They could do that.
Yeah. But anyway, back to the Barstool interview that they mentioned. This says, we're told big name showrunners and producers are reaching out to Haley's people to discuss what kind of show they can create as a vehicle for her bubbly personality.
Do now, because now you have management, now you have a team. What are your plans moving forward? Like, do you want to still be the hook to a girl, or do you want to like?
I don't really want that to be like my image.
Yeah.
Like, hot to a girl. I don't see that being like
A
my
forever
thing.
thing.
You know? Yeah, I don't want to be known as that.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, and you're also only 21, so you kind of
Yeah.
said something silly, and I think half of the internet also is on your side with that, where
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like you're out drinking after a night with
Oh,
your
yeah.
friends. You get asked, what is something crazy you do in bed?
Oh yeah.
It was funny.
I was being a little bit of a smartass too, cause
Yeah.
like, you're gonna come up to me with a microphone and ask me something like that. Oh, well, I'm gonna hawk to it and spit on it, you know. I don't mean nothing by it.
Yeah, you were like actually being serious.
Oh, yeah.
You were just joking.
They're looking to pivot.
It's kind of sad that, you know, she doesn't want to be known for that when that was the risk all along.
It's what I always criticize. I said, you hate it when a musician stops playing their favorite song.
Yeah. Like, you can't move past it. I'm sorry. That's
No,
always
no,
what you're
that's
gonna
I
be
disagree.
known
She
for.
can. I mean, life is long and careers are long, and with the right moves, eventually she'll move on to content creation, and that will just be one aspect of it.
I guess we'll
And then
see.
5
if
years
it's
from now, you're like,
possible.
oh yeah, she was the person. I'm saying if it
Because
worked out.
I think of Tiffany Gomez still
Yeah.
for her original.
Well, she's
viral
going a different route
moment.
here. I mean, she's clearly going a corporate route.
The TLC show,
Yeah,
Netflix show, something.
yeah.
I don't know. Can that take off?
I
Like, she
mean-
might have the quality, but what about her friends?
I mean, it would depend.
Are they
right?
along for
Like,
the ride?
Yeah, yeah. She's
Would
gotta
they
bring
want to
them
be
on.
part of that? I don't know. I have more questions than answers at this point. She might be moving to Hollywood, though.
Yep. No, she said she wasn't going to in the documentary.
Well, I'm just going off of what TMZ said.
Okay, all right.
Like, she might be going to Hollywood to
Well, she can collab.
get a deal from one of these studios.
She can collab with Bagel Guy.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
All right. What would you like to see? Cringe or cute of the day?
You decide.
All right. Let's do cringe first. We'll go classic here. All right. It says, cringeworthy moment. Influencer gets ignored by photographers on the red carpet as she leaves and returns to the carpet 4 times. I don't think they know who I am. Do you think this is satire?
I definitely think it's satire, but I still found it cringy.
I realized the photographers didn't know who I was.
That was crazy. I think I'm gonna ask the security because I don't think they know who I am. I think I'm just gonna go.
The line is getting longer and longer.
I'm gonna go to the car. Can you like follow me though? You're my publicist. They need to know that I'm official.
Okay, go.
Yeah, thank you. Perfect. Are you taking photos? Yeah.
Did you get her name? Okay, good.
Trying not to cry.
Yeah, you should definitely do that.
I'm gonna ask that girl.
Oh my God.
Do you think they're gonna recognize me, the photographer? I'm like so stressed out that I'm like literally sweating. I don't know if you can see that.
Trying to act confident.
No flashes.
Thank you. Damn.
That's
That was like
tough.
4 tries, right?
That's tough, dude.
The unfortunate truth, though, is I know it's satire, but she was also that influencer who was invited to a movie premiere. Like,
Yeah,
that's
I'm seeing
what
different
they're there for.
different demographics. She's there to bring her, online audience to these movies by posting pictures later.
What was it again?
A Quiet Place A Quiet Place Day 1.
Have you seen any good buzz about that?
Yeah, I mean, it did pretty well it made good money for its first weekend, and it got generally favorable reviews. So
I didn't realize John Krasinski wasn't even involved in it. Like, he didn't even direct it.
Yeah.
He wasn't involved
Just
in
producing.
the prequel at all.
Yeah.
Just producing and making money off of
He's
it.
got other
Which
stuff
I
to
guess
do.
good for him, but it
His
doesn't
wife's
sound appealing to me.
All right, cute of the day. We got a couple here. First things first. This is from Jay Dennis. It says, not my dog, but this is Prince. Prince is awesome.
Cute, very fluffy.
Prince is very fluffy. I like him a lot. And this is from Terrence Ray. Says, my daughter with her Cali King snake Domino.
Oh, that's a cute snake. See, people don't think snakes can be cute, but
Mary loves snakes.
look at that. I love it.
That first picture was good. It was like looking right at you.
Yeah. They have little puppy faces. You see that?
All right, guys. All right, let's go ahead and get started then, shall we? So we're stuck with, Trump and Biden, but there is a third choice, is there not?
Yeah, I think MrBeast might be the October surprise that everyone is waiting for. MrBeast has come out to hint to everyone he's thinking about a future run for U.S. president. He is coming for the White House, the first influencer/YouTuber president. He is going to be the one. He tweeted out, if we lower the age to run for president, I'll jump in the race. And by the way, he is still a while from reaching the minimum age.
At least another 2 cycles?
Yeah, he's
like
26 right now, which I actually thought he was a little bit younger than that. But he is a Zoomer.
Yeah.
He would be also the first Zoomer president. We haven't even had a millennial president.
No.
So that would be a jump,
Yeah.
first of all. It would take a lot of getting used to.
Wait, what was Obama?
Wasn't he Gen X?
When does Gen X start? 67?
Like 68 or something?
67?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Wasn't he?
I have no idea.
At least I thought so.
He tries to pretend he is with that music list he does every year.
Yeah, and maybe it could be like Vivek as the vice president for MrBeast, because I don't want Chris Tyson anywhere near that cabinet.
Yeah.
Just no. Immediately no.
Yeah, look, on its face, I laugh. My tweet was basically like, look, there's no way he would be allowed to be president because his version of foreign aid is far too efficient, and we don't do efficient foreign aid in this country. It's not something we really do. I would, however, like I said before, support the idea that we create weird Squid Games for every country if they want to get our foreign aid. At the very least,
make it meritocratic.
At the very least, every time we give out hundreds of millions of dollars of pork barrel spending, we should get YouTube videos out of it.
Okay, we got a 20 from Brewmaster Monk. I've been working lots of overtime, so here's some cash. You guys should start a non-profit so I can write off my super chats. Maybe something about securing Tuah ladies for the unfortunately abled. I don't know about all that.
I sent you an article.
Is that going to be MrBeast's next philanthropy?
An article today about a holistic sex worker
who helps, disabled people, you said, or mentally ill people as well.
Yeah.
With intimacy issues.
Yep.
Interesting.
But
anyway, I just picture MrBeast in Air Force One, airdropping thousands of Feastables onto Gaza or onto North Korea, maybe.
I like this one right here.
Like his philanthropy.
I gave away the entire U.S. military budget to a subscriber.
Yes. Like, the potential is there. But I just don't know if he has the charisma.
To be president?
Isn't he, notoriously flat?
He requires very strong editing in his videos to make him look a certain way, right?
He smiles without his eyes. Isn't that a sign of a psychopath?
I mean, you said that, right? That he smiles without his eyes. Do you want to explain to people what that means?
Okay, like this,
So his eyes don't
This
move.
is how he snarls.
He also went back through and like he goes through and he randomly changes his thumbnails. Can you imagine him going through and just randomly making changes to the U.S. government website with better pictures?
Yeah.
Like to US.gov?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had the thumbnail today is him pointing at the audience.
Yeah.
It gives Uncle Sam energy.
Look, for years, people have complained about the U.S. being like world policing and everything. He would stop the world policing. He would just start giving away more. He would take the money from the military black budget and just build even more wells in Africa.
Well, he says that he wouldn't be focusing on YouTube because someone in the replies asked, would you still make YouTube videos if you were president? He said, I'd probably focus on running the largest economy on earth. What he left out of that is it would be my YouTube channel.
Yes.
And someone asked, are you sharp as attack? And he said, attack fresh out the box.
I think that
we don't have to worry about him becoming senile.
It's
so that's
weird
a plus.
and he does he already employs lots of people and has to worry about constantly monitoring his accounts, and image is important to him and all of these things. I just don't think that anybody would ever actually vote for him unless they were under a certain demographic, right?
Well, Trump already proved that you can come into politics as a complete outsider.
But I'm saying I think his age is a barrier for
the president.
him. I think his age is actually a barrier for him early on with older voters.
It definitely would be.
Yes.
But in all seriousness, like that barrier has already been broken for someone in entertainment to become the president. I mean, Reagan did it, obviously. Yeah. Trump did it, obviously. But as a complete outsider to politics in general, I just think like this unfortunately will add more fuel to the fire of the rumors that MrBeast is the Antichrist.
Yeah.
I don't personally believe it, but many people do. I saw that most recently he was getting backlash for building a bunch of houses in El Salvador.
Yeah.
And reportedly people who live there, the locals, started immediately selling the houses for a marked up price. However, the community notes came in to save the day that says the Minister of Housing in El Salvador denounced that post as fake and clarified that these houses MrBeast built cannot be sold for another 20 years.
I want him, if he became president, every time he has to sign some bill, he has to make a YouTube video about it, explaining it to everyone. And then people would actually learn about civics.
I don't know. That just seems like surrendering to idiocracy at that point.
I mean, I think we were long past.
We're already there.
We just did 8 minutes on a girl that everyone knows as Tuah.
It doesn't get more idiocratic than that.
And got a weird syrupy documentary about a girl talking about oral sex. So yeah. I don't know if more idiocracy is really the problem. I think we're sufficiently in the world of idiocracy now.
Someone replied, can't wait for $1 versus $1 million drone strike.
He's like, look, no. I bought a mini handheld drone from Target, and then I also used this one from Raytheon.
Whoever stays in the circle the longest gets their Social Security. No, this is actually like pretty good meme fodder.
Chat,
I don't think it would actually happen.
Chat, I would like to know whether anybody here would actually vote for MrBeast, because first of all, he wouldn't be able to run as MrBeast.
Is he running as the MrBeast party?
As Jimmy Dunn? No, they'd be the Feastable party. Yeah.
The Feastable party.
He can have his own. He can have his own version of like Michelle Obama's like school lunch reform with Feastables.
I like, his GF as the first lady. She has first lady potential.
How do you feel about the idea of age in politics, right? Because this is one of those things that people always talk about, right? Well, they're all old. Yes, they are. They're ancient. They're rich. They're corrupt. Everyone understands that. But we also have plenty of young people that are entering politics now that I refuse to believe that AOC or Ilhan Omar, or any of these people that are considered young for for politics, are bringing new and fresh ideas to the...
It's not about new and fresh ideas, it's about branding. And like, most likely, the future first Gen Z president is already being groomed out of one of the major institutions, Yale, Harvard, any of those Ivy League schools.
Yeah.
They're probably deeply entrenched in the elite and being groomed for the position as we speak.
In those weird secret societies that they always have at those schools.
Skull and Bones or whatever, the ones that you don't know the name of. and it's not going to be a YouTuber. Like, that's the truth. But what's interesting about it is that, you know, I keep thinking, when are we going to have a president or a politician who was on social media as a kid? You know,
which president will have to worry about their N-word tweets being pulled up?
Essentially, yeah. Essentially, like, which future president is going to have to scrub their digital footprint, and is that even possible?
Yeah.
Because people are going to be digging into your past more than.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's when they would always bring up the
anyone.
idea of like Michelle Obama running for office, or certain people who are, or Oprah, or certain people. I mean, she's not what I'd consider wholesome, but there's certain people who they talk about wanting them to get into politics. They talk about The Rock, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, you don't realize how much politics dirties you up until you get involved. Right? Which is why it's best to steer clear, especially if you've already made your money and you're doing your own thing. MrBeast will help infinitely more people in the private sector than he ever could as an American president.
Yeah,
because of bureaucracy.
Trump gave up being liked, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
For an
For him.
entertainer, but yeah, like for him especially, and it's probably really hard to make that choice. And I wouldn't even want to see any of the people you listed go into politics.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like they try to find the person who's like the least problematic person you can think of, and then say they should be president.
But you just don't know.
It's because it hasn't.
You don't know yet. They haven't been exposed yet for all of the things that make them problematic, right? But I'm just wondering, like, when are we gonna have the future president who was on Snapchat in middle school and like saying the most out of pocket things, and they most certainly will be, you know, raked over the coals for that. But at what point will it be so like universally accepted that, you know, when Zoomers are passed the torch and are in all of the positions of leadership at a certain point in the future, is it going to be a scandal anymore?
Will it
that
even
you
matter?
Posted something uncouth?
Once we get
Secretary
Logan Paul, and you have to worry about the forest video coming out, and nobody cares.
He's never going to make a diplomatic trip to Japan.
No, that one's out of the question.
That is out of the question.
No Secretary of State for Logan Paul. Sorry.
But
Can't happen.
MrBeast just started an interesting conversation. I don't think he actually intends to jump into the race.
No, but I do think it's interesting because I constantly hear about it being age that's the problem. And I say, look, I don't see any young politicians with great ideas.
No.
I guess I enjoy Vivek Ramaswamy, and he's younger. He's what, 38 or something, or 40?
He's definitely in his early 40s now.
Let's call 40 young for politics.
40 is young for politics, which is crazy, but it's true.
Let's not just say that because somebody's 26 that they're going to come up with great ideas. That's actually the opposite.
Literally the opposite.
Yes.
And I am actually very much okay with keeping the minimum age at 35. Personally.
All right, let's go to Super Chats then.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Happy Monday, Brett and Mary. I hope y'all had a great 4th. It took 2 weeks, but the PCC Clue and Monopoly boards are out just in time for dysfunctional family game night."
I will have to check it out. I haven't gotten a chance to look yet. I've been busy. There's a $20 one right there.
Not That John Stewart says, "Look, it was the 2010s. Everybody did it."
See, that's going to be what people will say back then. Like, look, it was the 2010s.
Or the 2020s, really. Just overall. You got a get out of jail free card for all of your problematic tweets. Red Snow said, "Yay, mom and dad are back from getting milk and zins."
I actually like the idea that you would be, in a perfect world, you would be more respected for leaving your problematic tweets up and just owning it than trying to delete it and pretend they never happened.
Yeah.
I watched this, so Olivia's got me watching Jane the Virgin. I saw somebody making fun of me because I tweeted about the feminist literary professor, and I was looking into Gina Rodriguez, who's like the star of the show. She's probably the most wholesome person you could ever hire for a job, and even she has like she had to apologize once because she said the N-word while singing along to a Fugees song, and like made 2 apology videos.
When did that happen?
In like 2019 or something like that.
And she did apologize.
Yeah, twice. She made like 2 apology videos for it. But there's the thing, like if you embrace the label of wholesome, that's the cross
you have to
bear.
live up to.
You don't get to.
See, this is what I was saying about Keanu Reeves. Like, if anyone is known as being that wholesome and that perfect, and they're like valorized to that level, it just rings an alarm bell for me. Because you're going to be disappointed by the person that you idolize.
I mean, usually.
Yes.
Like 99 times out of 100, yes.
Yeah.
You don't want to meet your heroes.
Or you just don't want to know like all of the in-depth details of their personal life or all the mistakes that they've ever made. Not That John Stewart said, I don't buy that is Zuck. You think it's the Zuck body double? It's the cool Zuck, and then the nerd alien Zuck is a separate guy?
In the chat, 33 and a third says, that's not wholesome, that's pathetic. No, I'm saying her personality is that of a wholesome person. She's just
apologizing is obviously a mistake.
She is not she's never been considered a problematic person. Therefore, if you are a typically not problematic person, when you do something that even is viewed as slightly problematic, you're going to be forced to apologize because that's the way it works when that's the path you've chosen. Now, if she was a YouTuber and she was known for being edgy, then she doesn't have to apologize. She can just own it.
Well, sure, but also because she's naturally one of these sweet, non-problematic people,
yes,
she's going to be the person who wants to apologize the most, which is not the move. Shane H. Wilder said, I still have nightmares about our 18 gate.
Yeah. What are we at now?
OGs,
we're at 50. We're at 56 minutes now, so we could.
Are we safe?
That could still happen today.
Don't jinx it. Okay, 50 Charlie said, "Ghost girl ghosting like a pro."
Yes, you did ghost properly for the new norm.
Oh,
That's
right.
yeah.
I ghosted them. Okay, I get it.
All right, let's hold off on the rest. Let's come back after the fact. Time to talk about what's going on with She-Hulk. She's coming for your children.
Recently, Tatiana Maslany, the star of Marvel's She-Hulk show, did an interview and said that she explicitly opposes parental rights laws that allow parents to make the decisions about their children socially and or medically transitioning. I don't know how much we can say about this subject on YouTube, especially in the first 2 minutes of a video. But before we do, let's just hear directly from her what she said.
Okay, here we go, guys.
Recently, the provincial government, they passed the Parental Bill of Rights, so requiring teachers to get parental consent when students want to change their name or pronouns at school. What's your thought on that?
I believe that it's outside of it should not be the control of the parents whether a child, how a child identifies, how a child knows themselves to be. That isn't a parent's place. It's an overreach.
Does she have kids?
On the part of the provincial government
know.
to legislate that. It's absurd. Children have rights. Children are human beings who have knowledge and who know themselves. And we should be taking cues from them. In so many ways, we should be taking cues from them.
It's like just such a bizarre mentality. Hold on.
Empowering them to know who they are and to name that. It's their right. It's not the parents' right.
That's so funny. Like, who thinks that children know themselves? If you've ever been a child, you should know that children do not know themselves. And the idea that we should be taking cues from children is, the logical conclusion of that is allowing your kid to pretend to be a dog 24/7.
Correct.
Allowing your kid to pretend they can fly and letting them jump off a cliff, essentially.
She just got married last year or 2 years ago, but it doesn't look like she has kids.
Honestly, just after hearing this, I hope she doesn't, because this woman clearly is, promoting something very dangerous for children.
It is really weird how like the modern identity for like Western women has been to like embrace whatever your kid says and say it's
affirm
like,
everything, validate every little feeling.
Yeah.
Be essentially breathing down your kid's neck 24/7, paying attention to every little thing that they say. You need to give space to all of their fleeting feelings, or else you're a failure as a parent. That's actually the modern, that's the modern parenting trend, is that you have to give space and validation and affirmation to every single thing that your kid says or thinks or feels.
It makes no sense.
Even kids don't pay that close of attention to what they say, think, or feel. Like, sometimes a kid just wants to pretend to be a dog that day, and then you move on because nobody is going to start treating it like a dog.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. if she's just repeating this because this is what she's been
That's
told, or if she genuinely
what I would
believes
genuinely
it.
believe is that most of what you're hearing is just somebody repeating back a bunch of stuff that they've heard.
Right.
And it's the affirmed
Right.
narrative.
Because, you know, obviously this woman doesn't know anything about how children think or how they feel or how they identify, if she thinks that adults should be taking all of their cues from them.
So this is the road for Western women now. You either get to be the mom who is so toxic she'll just let her kid do anything, or you get to be wine aunt.
Well, you know, in Hollywood especially, it's not just the moms. It's the dads too who are affirming all of this. Just look at, you know, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, for instance. And most recently, an example came up from Fashion Week in Paris. Naomi Watts was parading around her son at Fashion Week in a bra, like some kind of accessory. Oh, you just have a daughter? I have a trans one. Did they put this poor kid on puberty blockers? He is 16 now. And I looked a little further into how this came about. Why does Naomi Watts' child identify as a woman after being quote unquote assigned male at birth? I saw headlines like Naomi Watts and her trans daughter Kai slay the house down at Paris fashion show. And there are more and more pictures of them together where, you know, clearly her son is an accessory to her. Just a fashion statement after all. Yep. And that's when I saw this post of Kai Schreiber, I guess that is the chosen name, Kai Schreiber at about 10 years old, walking around with his father, Liev Schreiber. This was from 6 years ago. And here in this picture, Kai is dressed up in, honestly, what I would say is a very sexualized costume of Harley Quinn from the Suicide Squad movie. It looks very adult for a 10-year-old, but more importantly, that's his son wearing that costume and the wig and the makeup and all of that. And here's what he said. My son wanted to be Harley Quinn for Comic-Con, so that's what we did. Why are you being so weird about it? He's asking us why we're being so weird about it. Because we're the weird ones for thinking that this is weird. It's like they could do all manner of degenerate or really just bizarre things in their parenting choices or how they choose to present themselves in the public eye. And if you notice it, you get gaslit into thinking you're the crazy one.
Yeah.
Like, noticing it makes you the bad person.
Yeah.
You're weird. Why are you asking questions? Stop talking about it. Mind your own business. Even though we're shoving our business in everyone's faces, you should mind your own business. And you should stop asking why this is happening. There's nothing to see here.
It's the height of narcissism from Hollywood to assume that you get to just do whatever you want and not receive any pushback about anything ever.
When, you know, in reality, he wants that attention because you're parading your kid around dressed in these costumes for paparazzi to see you, and so that you can get praise and adulation on social media, which naturally will come with a little bit of negative feedback as well, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the meme where it says like son plays with doll once and the mom's putting on the trans bandana? It says time to go to work.
And I have seen this theory, which is interesting, that motherhood has been denigrated so much that in order to maintain some kind of social status in regard to being a mom, a lot of them have turned to essentially Munchausen's by proxy to get that praise and adulation that they feel deprived of.
Well,
I
also think it has a lot to do with 30, 40, 50 years of Hollywood doing the story about the family that doesn't accept their child. Right?
And they want to be the polar opposite of that stereotype.
But this isn't just in Hollywood. Like, this has trickled down into all of society right now. The last thing you want to be is a parent with a closed mind.
And if you're not famous already, your kid being some kind of gender identity that is outside the norm is your pathway to fame and notoriety.
Exactly.
And, you know, you see that with Jazz Jennings' parents. But look, if this started before... Thank you.
We appreciate it. It is just a way to feel special as a parent in a society that no longer values having kids or parenthood.
Well, I said if Gypsy Rose Blanchard were born 10 years after, if she were Gen Z, you know, her mom would have assisted her in gender, you know, so-called gender affirming care. That definitely would have been the move, and a much more socially acceptable one.
Yep.
And unfortunately, it's just way overrepresented in Hollywood, so we get to see examples like this. But look, if this started before your child was even 10 years old, before your child maybe even had access to the internet, you're seriously not going to convince me that it was all his idea that he wanted to wear girl clothes and he wanted to wear makeup and he wanted to wear wigs and go out and get pictures taken looking like that. You're not going to convince me that it had nothing to do with the parents hopping on a bandwagon.
And like you said before, like with Tatiana Maslany, though, I think it's just not somebody who's not a parent having no clue what actual parenting is like.
Honestly, since you mentioned that, I wanted to bring up Khloe Kardashian recently, talking about her experience with her child via surrogacy.
Oh, yeah.
She said she was so emotionally detached from her surrogate son, she did not name him for 8 months of his life. She said, I wasn't carrying him. I didn't really feel anything. So her son, who is now named Tatum, lost a relationship with the mother who gestated him and was handed off to Khloe Kardashian for a price. And Khloe was naturally, you can only understand why, you know, after another woman carried and gave birth to this child, why you would feel emotionally detached from your child. She didn't name her son for almost the first year of his life. And you can see also in the example of Paris Hilton, who did not even learn how to change her son's diaper for 3 months.
Yeah.
There is something very deeply disturbed about a lot of mothers in Hollywood, regardless of the gender identity issue.
Science and technology has pushed us so far away from how life naturally happens that there's bound to be mistakes and problems along the way.
And there's so much status attached to it too.
I think that's a big part of what we're talking about here. Whether it's what's going on with Naomi Watts, that's status. With Tatiana Maslany, just saying that gives status for all of that. Like, to say something is stupid is that you should let your child make decisions for themselves when they're not old enough or mature enough to do so, just proves that you're not actually logically thinking through what any of this means. That, or you did go to a college that poisoned you with gender ideology early on.
I mean, in Hollywood, you don't need college to tell you these things. You just take cues from all the rest of the people in this evil industry and repeat back what you've heard.
Yep.
And you'll get praised for it.
All right, let's go super chats.
All right, Shane H. Wilder said, I had the pleasure of seeing a first-class relic of Carlo. Also, Brett, don't question our ability to just up and go to the Vatican. Yeah, I can go to the Vatican whenever I want.
I mean,
it's free.
It's like when people say, like, just stop being poor. Like, it's not, I mean, plane tickets aren't the most expensive thing, but you got a job, it costs money.
Look, I'm not saying the plane tickets would be free, but you can show up to the Vatican. You can just go. You just be there. They can't stop you.
Sorry if I question the idea that you up and go to another country on a whim.
Well, look, if I figure out when he's going to be canonized, I will plan that far ahead of time. Sorenko Productions said Gen Z are voting specifically for the ability to have consequence-free sex, even though most aren't even having it. LOL. Well, yeah, isn't that strange? They care a lot about reproductive rights, but they're not even having sex that concerns them with having reproductive rights.
I mean, it's the idea of, like, you don't want to live through a time period where you had the ability to do something and then suddenly that ability was taken away, even if that's not actually what happened.
Yeah, even if it was just the illusion.
I did laugh at this. I read through this thread where somebody said, like, they were talking about the idea of, like, 9-month abortion and, like, abortion up until birth.
The debates?
I mean, it was people talking about it. We're like, that's not happening anywhere. I love the gaslighting. It's like all you have to do is look up which states have no abortion limits.
Look, nobody is saying that it's happening in the same numbers as first trimester abortions.
But this is also,
but to claim that it's never happening is just a blatant lie.
These issues are also the ones that they feed into certain women's neuroses and ability to write novels about everything is The Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
Everything is.
Do you think
the
I
end
should
of the
watch
world.
that show just so I can understand their neuroses and their derangement better?
Everything is the subjugation of women in a time period where, like, somebody's like, nobody will understand the hardships that faced women. I said, and nobody will understand the shoulder surgeries needed for all the women patting themselves on the back just for existing in 21st century America.
It's funny how with the birth rates so low and the rates of childless women always increasing, they feel so strongly about how hard it is to be a mom.
Yeah.
You know,
Like I said,
you're not actually going through that.
I was looking through this thread last night on Instagram of this lady who's like, if men understood what it was like to be bleeding 4 weeks postpartum and all these other things.
It's like most of you don't know what it's like to be bleeding postpartum. Like
and it's like there would be abortion
clinics on every street corner.
And maternity leave would be the most important subject of the day. I'm like, no, it wouldn't, because men would be told not to complain about it anyways. If this stuff did happen.
It's just a that's that conditional statement. I understand where they're trying to go with it, but it's like not a conditional statement at all, because it's literally saying if men were women, then they would still be treated like men. Like, that's not
my
true.
favorite part of
they
that
would be
is,
women.
Like, Instagram, which is not exactly known for a place of great pushback on topics like that. A lot of them is like, well, you know, you can thank the communists and the capitalists for getting you out of the house so that you can go work, making it so that you all have to work. And now this is what you get for it. Your biology runs headlong into the way society works. Sorry.
I mean, really, it runs headlong into industrial society.
Yes.
Which is the real black pill. There's no going back from that.
Like I said, I was making up an entire fan fiction story about this guy I saw at Aldi over the weekend with he had the collared shirt and the two big khaki pants. I was like, you just know that the entire white collar world runs on this guy. Right? This dude probably makes $250,000 a year. He knows every single keyboard shortcut on Microsoft Excel. He loves Lord of the Rings.
He's that guy at the airport who is on his laptop on a spreadsheet.
And it's the videos online where it's the girl who goes, men with no hose. What are you doing? And then this guy's just like, actually, I was writing new shortcuts for Microsoft Excel so that I can better fill out my TPS reports for my job. Like this guy keeps America, it's the blue collar guys, it's the ones in the sewers, it's the one building our roads, it's all of them, but it's also this guy. Okay, I don't know exactly what company he works for, but I'm sure that there is a lot of medical data that is transferred from one portal to another because of this guy's stuff.
You know, the other day I saw someone say like 20% of the U.S. workforce works for the government.
Sounds
which is
about
insanely
right.
high.
It's a lot of pensions.
I had no idea, but it must be including a lot of like contractors, right?
I mean, is that the idea that it's like what 10% is like actual pensioned government workers and the rest are all subcontractors?
I don't know,
to
but that's
private
still a
corporations?
lot. That's still a lot of people. Shane H. Wilder said, Tuah is definitely a psyop. Make it stop. Now is the time to shamelessly promote the Everything I Don't Like is a Psyop t-shirt. You can buy it.
What? This shirt right here?
Now, that shirt
It is
right
available on the Pop Culture Crisis Teespring.
Everything that we don't like is a psyop.
You should go and buy it.
Serenko Productions
do one more.
Said, no Tuah parents explains a lot, TBH. LOL. Maybe her parents just didn't want to be part
Wouldn't
of
blame them. I also love the syrupy part about the neighbors. Like, oh, we saw this girl who's in our neighborhood and she's on the Daily Mail. And I'm like, for what?
I really don't believe that they like know each other.
All right, let's hold off on the rest. Let's come back after the fact. Time to talk about PewDiePie, which, by the way, I have now had the T-Series congratulations song stuck in my head since we listened to it.
I love that for you.
No.
Okay, right now, PewDiePie is in his loving husband and father era. He is posting wholesome family vlogs. He's living his peaceful life in Japan in semi-retirement. And that is all that he posts about now. And I love that for him. I totally support it. But unfortunately, this makes a lot of people violently angry.
Very angry. Seeing people win with heteronormative situations is just evil, is it not?
So Dexerto posted this cute little reel, a lot of videos of PewDiePie hanging out with his baby. They're in, they're just living their best life. There's Marzia, his wife, and they're with his parents. Just seems like a lovely time. And one of the first replies I saw was, "This reeks of Nazism."
Yep.
From somebody with a trans flag and hammer and sickle in their screen name.
No watermelon. I'm surprised.
No watermelon because their screen name is in Hebrew.
Oh, there you go. I mean, even that's, those, okay.
You're in between a rock and a hard place.
Yep.
But this person with a hammer and sickle in their screen name says that PewDiePie's family reeks of Nazism. And apparently just, being white and having a family and, not actively self-flagellating for it.
What people don't realize
Nazism.
is just how much of the internet really does hate the idea of standard Western values. Right?
Or just normalcy. It's just, they hate normalcy itself. Like, you have to be some kind of aberration from the norm. You have to be in a polycule, or you need to be in a gay relationship or identify as some abnormal gender identity. You need to live on a commune. You need to be child-free. You need to be a dog mom, a plant mom.
Part of this is also...
Something weird has to be going on, or else they have a problem with it.
Part of this is also because too many people... It kind of is an offshoot of stan culture, which is like people fall in love with these with these celebrities and then get mad when they're not seeing themselves reflected back in every way.
Maybe it's former fans of PewDiePie who are lashing out the most, but I really thought that a lot of this backlash was due to his N-word scandal when he was, the bridge incident.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. We're not going to show the clip, obviously. But, he said the N-word while he was live streaming one time in 2017. I thought that was where the accusations of racism were coming from. Yeah. But in reality, a lot of people thought his infamous feud with T-Series, the huge Bollywood channel that took over #1 spot on YouTube.
Which just lost out to MrBeast recently.
They lost out to MrBeast literally last month. A lot of people thought that PewDiePie behaved in a racist way toward Indians when he was in the middle of this joke feud with T-Series back in 2018, 2019. He originally put out this music video called Bitch Lasagna aimed at T-Series while they were coming for PewDiePie's #1 spot on YouTube, just in terms of subscriber count.
Yeah. And,
a lot of the lyrics were a little bit risque. It was 2018 and you were allowed to make edgier jokes back then. And one of the lyrics said, "Indians have poo-poo in their brains." Let me give you the context though. The next line said, "That's a blatant racist lie."
Yes.
The joke is that they said something blatantly racist and were self-aware, and it wasn't just saying it for the sake of saying it. You know what I mean?
What's really funny is there's this notion now that even in media you can't even show a bad person doing something bad because that's too many bad guy.
There's no nuance.
Too many. It's kind of like what happened with Homelander. People love Homelander, and then the creator of The Boys is like, no, you're not supposed to like him. It's like there was a who was the wrestler? I think it was Shelton Benjamin was made a video recently, or he posted a clip of him back when he was wrestling in WWE back in the day, and apparently he had some racist dialogue against an Asian wrestler.
Okay.
And then and he's like, I would know. He's like, this was awful. I can't believe we did this. And they're like, but you were playing the heel, right? You were playing the bad guy. That's the point. Is everyone's laughing at you,
right? But according
you're
to
not
these
allowed
people,
to do that now.
There's no context that makes it acceptable to say anything negative about any group of people. As long as they are in the protected categories.
People think murder is more forgivable than racism now. in a lot of ways. Like there
Yeah,
are,
they do, for sure. They advocate for rehabilitating
Gypsy
murderers and rapists.
No, I wouldn't even say rape. I would say just.
No, they definitely. I've seen actual leftist advocacy for rehabilitating and normalizing serial rapists and murderers. They're more willing to forgive that than your N-word tweets from 10 years ago. It's seriously that extreme. And, that song, Bitch Lasagna, also made mention of the Indian caste system and the crippling poverty that still exists in this country of over 1 billion people. Yeah. So here were some of the responses. One from Stop Hindu Hate Advocacy Network said, "Oh, you mean the white PewDiePie who lost to Indians, then went on a racist rant, calling them poo-poo in their brains? Fix the caste system and solve your crippling poverty? Last heard he's moved to Japan with his family. Hope that bastard rots in hell." That was actually the Stop Hindu Hate Advocacy Network that said that. Another one said, "Living proof that you can just be racist to 20% of the world and people still see you as a wholesome Chungus 69. PewDiePie is a wholesome Chungus. Confirmed. Another one said, "One of the major reasons why hate towards Indians is so normalized across all social media platforms today. So F you, PewDiePie." Another one said, "The same guy who normalized racism against Indians on the internet, which later translated to hate crimes, yeah, F him."
That's a big claim. Can they confirm that one for me? Like,
he is responsible.
Source bro?
He is solely responsible for Asian hate.
Yeah.
Because that would technically include Indians. Another one said, "I hope he faces the karma one day for the millions of Indians and South Asians facing racism because of him today. It all started with him." They actually think PewDiePie is to blame for all racism.
He started racism.
He started racism. He invented it.
Yeah.
I just learned that. Another one said, "The neo-online wave of racism against Indians, which we see today, was started by this insect during 2017.
It's actually really funny now that I think about it. When I was rewatching Miami Vice, there's multiple mentions to different racist white supremacist groups, and it's just so not done with the fanfare that it would be done now. Like, it's not done with the
yeah.
It's
Without
just
the
it acknowledges
outrage.
that the Aryan Brotherhood, that these awful people exist, and they're just, the cops just look at them as another group of criminals that they have to take down. It's not done with the pearl clutching that it would be done with today.
Right, and I think that people are making like callbacks to this music video that he did in 2018 and see, like, they're saying, like, look at all these offensive racist things that he said. How dare he? But they're looking at it in a 2024 lens.
Yeah.
And I guess people don't realize this. Cancel culture wasn't even a popularized term until at least, I would say, the end of 2019.
Yeah.
Because I remember like teaching one of my high school teachers what the term cancel culture meant. And now we've heard it so many times that we're like sick to death of people talking about it. But that's, I think, in 2018, 2019, when cancel culture was in full swing.
Yeah.
And it was cool that PewDiePie was at least one of the last few YouTubers who didn't care about getting canceled because he was anti-fragile by that point.
Yeah, he'd already built up
literally
his
number
platform,
one.
Yeah.
And it's funny because at the end of that music video, they had like a post-credit scene of MrBeast slow clapping them out of frame. And that was like the ultimate foreshadowing that MrBeast was going to come avenge PewDiePie and take over the #1 spot from T-Series.
I do want you to look at this picture, though, and remember that they do hate this. They do hate the idea of you starting a family. They do hate the idea of you performing in any type of normative behavior, because norms are something that should be beaten, broken, and dismantled. They love to talk about dismantling things and disrupting the culture. And anytime you do anything normal, you know, a weirdo on the internet weeps. Make them weep.
Yeah. I mean, they even sent PewDiePie all of these. I remember PewDiePie got hate for promoting weightlifting to his audience.
Well, remember, that's also white supremacist culture, is to stay in shape.
Of course. And they got mad at him for making videos about philosophy. for his, and it's a good thing. It's a good influence. He has a young male audience. And he's getting them interested in self-improvement, which, yes, isn't the end-all be-all of living and existing, but you know, he's not being a bad influence, which is what makes them angry.
Yeah.
Like, they're mad at him for not promoting a degenerate, aberrant lifestyle. Yep. And that's really at the heart of all of this.
To me, that always seems like this weird natural phenomenon that's kind of come out of the notion that everything must be subverted. It's like when they talk about subverting expectations, the only way to truly subvert expectations in Hollywood now is to just tell a traditional story with no change.
There's no catch.
Like, there's a damsel in distress. She's actually a damsel in distress. He's, you know, like, that would be amazing. She's like, she tries to fight a guy and gets beat up, and it's like, holy crap, she's not a... She's not a girl boss, right? It was like that scene in Fall Guy where she beats him up, and I was like, there was no need to put that in there.
But if it's a movie, you can criticize it, but this is somebody's life. And he shares snippets of it for people who, you know, are willing to not be weirdos about it.
Yeah.
And people just have to ruin everything nice. Like, this is why we can't have nice things on the internet, because a guy will post a 30-second video of him having fun with his baby and his wife, and millions of people just shit their pants over it completely. And they're just such emotionally dysregulated, unhinged, deranged individuals. And I genuinely hope that they get the help they need.
I highly doubt that that's going to happen, Mary.
Not from the therapists that they currently have.
No, well, that would presuppose an idea that therapy
they need
actually
Jesus.
the therapy actually wanted to help them.
Okay, we've got to finish up these super chats. Alfred the Rock said, "You'll never do it. It doesn't mean I'm wrong about your simp army. And I think they're confusing you with Hannah Claire, her dad famous and wealthy." I thought that person was joking. Were they actually confusing me with Hannah Claire?
I assume that they were joking.
Okay. I mean, it's funny enough that I'll kind of just run with it. Grofty said, "Why is the like button so lonely? Give it a hug."
That is a very good question. Also, I want to
Hawk
know why
Tuah on that like button, if you have not already. What's up?
Party count in meter, or
oh no,
where did the party count go?
Is the crisis meter broken?
It's kind of not. Where did it go?
Okay, well, you
Keep
troubleshoot
reading.
that. I'll keep reading super chats. Corey Anderson said, "Mary's dad is Captain Morgan. The rum money goes far." Absolutely true. I'm not going to fact check you. Shane H. Wilder said, "MrBeast Markiplier 2028. I don't know. Is Markiplier even like relevant to Gen Z these days? I feel like he kind of faded out of relevance. Daniel G said, "Santos Zegler 2024. Girl, we out here in these streets." Wait, you mean Rachel Zegler and George Santos are gonna team up?
I'm so down for that.
I don't know. I don't know if Rachel Zegler would be down for that, though.
I'm sure they would get along swimmingly.
I think because she is essentially mini AOC, she would team up with AOC. Yeah. She would just be AOC's mini me, who follows her around everywhere with the red lipstick and the hoop earrings.
I have fixed the meter and the count.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that.
Which is why you should help us get to a third crisis party, guys. Don't let my hard work go to waste.
See, they forgot the number on the screen, and they just, you know, they didn't realize we were so close to a third party. Yep. Grofty said, "Happy Monday, everyone."
Well, happy Monday to you too, my friend.
It's almost surprising you guys are saying the correct weekday.
Yep.
Not trying to gaslight Brett. Red Snow said, "Almost forgot. Praise be to Space King."
Thank you, Red Snow.
Thank you. Sorenko Productions said, "Children are human beings unless their parents don't want them before they leave the womb. They can, then you can unalive them without consequence."
I mean, that's literally what they think too. So there's not a whole lot of rational thought in the way that they approach the world.
Like, there was this satirical tweet that I just doom scrolled past that said something like, this person was totally joking, but they said, you know, if we wanted to get rid of like, what did they say? Like children in poverty, we could just like kill them all. Like, they were obviously joking.
Saw that.
But I was like, no, that's literally an actual argument for abortion that I hear all the time, and people really think that it works. But But in reality, they just sound like genocidal maniacs. Shane H. Wilder said, Orphan Black is up there in my list of favorite shows, but Tatiana is outside her damned mind.
I just wonder how much of it is that they don't actually think through these positions. I mean, even when she was trying to articulate what she meant, she didn't really know how to put it into words, right? She knows she thinks it because she's been told to think it, but she doesn't actually know why she thinks the way she does.
She was dumbfounded by the question even being asked, but I think one factor in this might be that people have so little contact with children these days because, you know, this even goes for me. Like, I'm so close in age to my siblings that I never was old enough to take care of a younger sibling.
Yeah.
You know? And then just in general, like, so many adults are living in cities with a bunch of other adults and they just don't really see children all that much unless it's from a very far distance. They don't know how children think. They don't interact with them. So of course they would think that they should just be treated like mini adults, right? And in some regards, that actually makes sense because children should have responsibilities, but it's in order to teach them how to be adults.
Boundaries.
You don't actually think of them as adults.
The boundaries that you impose upon them are very important.
Yeah. It's just, I don't think that people understand how children work because they're interacting with children less and less.
You know whose fault it is? This is the fault of Hollywood for making every child precocious and verbose on every show for the last 20 years where they all talk like mini adults. And so a bunch of adults who don't have any contact with actual children
they watch Young Sheldon
think that all children talk like this and that they're very articulate and smart because that's supposed to be the gag, right? The gag is that look at this kid, he's so smart sounding.
Yeah.
Not really. That's not really how it is.
We got a 20 from That Stanzatastic. Auto-generated experiment. Viewers are talking about Aaron's request for suggestions of suitable wives who aren't white and are discussing whether certain traits come from heritage or life choices. I just got here. This right?
I don't think any of that is right.
Is this one of those conversations that they're having in the chat that has nothing to do with?
Must have nothing to do with us.
Talking about. Okay, well, I hope Aaron finds a wife.
Which of your traits come from your heritage, and which of them come from your life choices?
I want to know if you have any weird phobias, Brett.
That's a really. I feel like there is at least one that I'm not thinking
Everyone
of.
does, right?
I don't know if I have any off the top of my head.
Everyone has at least one.
What's yours?
See, this is something I ask because I recently realized it about myself. I have and I'm not joking at all when I say this. I have a serious fear of like studio logos. Like the ones that play at the end of a movie or a TV show.
That's really funny because I just watched, I finally got around to, I haven't finished, but I started 2 movies over the weekend. I started The Beekeeper and I started Muzzle.
Okay.
Muzzle is one that Dallas Sonnier produced with Aaron Eckhart. And when you watch The Beekeeper, there's like 5 minutes of opening studio
That's
logos.
annoying.
It's like, it's not 5 minutes. It's like 2 minutes of just nothing but logo. I'm like, can we get to the movie, please?
So for me, it's only the ones that are at the end of the episode or movie. Like for any MTV show, I am deathly afraid. I am deathly afraid of the MTV Moon Man. I feel like I'm gonna see him peering out at me in the darkness. The MTV. Terrifying. I know that a lot of kids share being afraid of the THX.
Yeah, the sound of it.
That's so deafeningly loud, but I was definitely afraid of that one. Wait, which one was that?
It's the end of The Simpsons.
Oh, I never was allowed to watch Simpsons, so I didn't watch it.
Okay.
But like, what else? The Bad Robot one. I hate that one.
I love that one.
Really just it's what freaks me out is just the ambient noise that plays while the logo appears on screen, and it's just like one after the other. I don't know. I can't even explain it. It's just like if I heard that in the middle of the night, I would I would just die. Like it's making me uncomfortable just thinking about it.
There was a skate video that a dude made in like the early 2000s, like a DVD. And it was one of those things where he, on the DVD menu creation, if you let the menu play through so many times, it would cut to a clip of him just yelling as loud as he could into the camera, so it would wake you up if you fell asleep at the DVD playing.
Oh, I hate it. You know what? Actually, those DVD menus also scare me.
Do they?
Yeah, I really hate it because it reminds me of like, you know, you're at a sleepover with a friend, but you were the last person who couldn't fall asleep, and then like you start hearing things, and the DVD menu just keeps playing over and over again.
I don't think I have any.
Keep noticing different weird things about it.
I don't think I have any like weird phobias. Never got the fear of clowns.
Well, that one is kind of more universal, but like is there like an uncommon one?
Not that I don't think I have any that are.
Or maybe one that you had as a kid and don't anymore.
Oh, I mean, I was afraid of escalators.
That makes sense. Escalators kill people.
That's not random though.
Yeah.
That's perfectly.
Oh, I was really afraid as a kid of stairs that didn't have backs.
Yes.
Those. I actually got stuck in between them once.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know why this happened, but
I don't think I had any like super random fears like that. Like I'd have to think about it, but I don't think that any really come to mind.
Okay.
But the best I could think of is escalators, but I think of that as perfectly logical and reasonable.
No, the Studio Logos one is just one that I like realized I had recently, and I tried to look it up. All I found is the term logophobia, but not many people share this feeling.
Yeah.
Omega Red Fan said, "Free your mind, be your own mom." What?
Okay.
Okay. Holy hand
Oh,
grenades.
that was in relation to Tatiana Maslany. Like the kid doesn't need a mom. The kid can just parent himself.
Of course.
Or herself. Or their self.
Or their
Or
self.
them
whatever.
self. That was the boomerist we're going to get today.
It is pretty boomer, but it is true. Like
I posted, so every 4th of July, whether it be on Instagram or I guess this year on X, I post the meme of like the founding fathers, and it says like, and they can just say whatever they want. Ooh, let's give them guns too. This country's gonna be lit. And that's my boomer posting for the year.
That's
but
sweet.
I post that for the 4th of July every year.
it's hard not to be a little bit black-pilled on the 4th of July when you start to put it all into perspective, but you gotta just stop thinking and just retweet that Trump tweet about happy 4th of July, except to the haters and losers. Or maybe it was even to the haters and losers.
Even to the haters and losers.
I'm one of the haters and the losers, and I appreciated that Trump still wished me a happy 4th of July.
To me, it's one of those things where like, every year, because I follow a lot of the libertarian meme pages, and it's always the funny thing. It's like, it's like me when I'm criticizing American politics, me when a British person criticizes American politics, and they morph into like a soldier, like a Union soldier.
They were talking a lot of shit.
They always do. I mean, and then what? They voted all Labor Party.
They were getting uppity.
Yeah, and but it's like, there's a difference between loving your country and the ideals that your country was founded on, and hopefully having love for thy neighbor, than there is love for the government.
Yeah, like I love the people. I honestly can say I don't love the ideas that this country was built on.
Not Christo-fascist enough?
I mean, it's classical liberalism. I don't agree with that.
Did you see
I am diametrically opposed to that in every way.
Did you see the
I love Americans though, and I love
Yes.
the land, and I love the culture, not the ideas.
There was what state was it that just put ammunition in vending machines? And it cuts to Nick Offerman saying like, "God, I love this country."
How is that possible? Who does that?
Is that Mississippi?
Is it like the flagship Bass Pro pyramid that has the bullet vending machines in there? Is there anything more American?
What state was it that put the bullets, that put the ammunition in the vending machines? I was just reading about it this weekend.
That's funny.
Alabama.
Holy Hand Grenade said, "Merry Simp Bucks." And Brett, you're a great host.
Thank you.
Well, you've been troubleshooting a lot today, so. Pat yourself on the back.
I go through the phases where it's like there are certain days where it feels like it goes really, really smoothly, and there's other days where my brain is just like like something's in reverse and it's just not working. And I don't know if it's like, I think sometimes it's just the time of day we do the show. Like
3 p.m. is not
3 p.m. fog is a real thing.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like I have that any other time of day. Like I've never been on IRL or done another show that's later at night where I felt like my brain is having that much of trouble like connecting with what I want to say. Whereas here I do struggle with that.
Honestly, part of me wishes that we were a morning show.
I would hate that.
Really?
Look, I love being able to
But
come
that
in.
means we would do the planning part the day
night
before.
Yeah, but so many stories end up coming in like after. I guess like we get done with it and then we start planning for the next day. I mean, we're pretty good about not.
We can't change it now. We're in too deep to change it now. But I just think like morning show is a vibe, you know?
Yeah.
Like I just think about the way they do like my favorite radio show. And so they get to watch the sunrise and talk about the least political stuff ever.
I just I'm literally sitting here trying to think of like something that I might have a phobia of, and if you asked me this any other time, I feel like something would come to my mind, but I can't think of anything that I have an innate fear of.
Are you claustrophobic at all?
Okay, so no.
Any insects, any animals?
Like, I would hate to be buried alive, but again, I don't think that's a phobia. Like
that's a very normal thing to fear.
No. Very recently, I have been selected to kill many large bugs at home.
Your exposure therapy.
That's a good thing, right? Like I made the joke. I said like I've been asked to open a pickle jar. I said I've been waiting for this moment my whole life. The same thing happens with killing large bugs.
Yeah.
You know, it's very caveman-esque. You know, it's very primal.
Grug-like.
Yes.
So you're not afraid of bugs?
No. I mean, I'm not like gonna like go out of my way to like. You see the people who are like, "Ooh, a disgusting bug," and then they go pick it up. No, but I'm not gonna scream and go the other direction. I did, however.
Sounds like you don't even have normal fears.
I
you don't even have normal fears or weird fears.
I was skating outside the other day here at the castle, and Frog just jumped literally onto my backpack and then onto my skate. I'm like, bro, I'm doing something.
Personal space.
Yeah. Like, are you kidding me?
Have you ever skated over a frog?
No, not that I know.
It seems like something that's bound to happen.
Sure, I've killed plenty of ants though.
Yeah.
I don't have like I'm not afraid of heights or anything like that.
Though I mean, you couldn't if you, as a skater, you can't be afraid of heights. Like
those things that don't. I'm sure there's at least what are the other irrational fears that people have?
I have the submechanophobia one, but that seems more rational. The underwater machinery thing.
Oh.
That's normal.
I guess I've never done it, so how would I know?
The studio logo thing, I can't find any other people who relate. Wait, let me find like rare phobias, and we'll go through them and we'll see if you have any.
I bet you there's at least a couple of there of things that I don't like.
Okay, we have.
I don't like waking up early. Is that a phobia?
Arachibutyrophobia, the fear of peanut butter sticking to the roof of your mouth.
No.
I don't know how that's a fear. It's just something that people don't enjoy. Nomophobia, the fear of being without your phone.
Yeah. Okay. That would probably bug me now. I'm fairly internet addicted, so that would probably be something that I wouldn't like. I am kind of somebody who over worries about stuff, so it's like it's the idea where it's like, okay, so I go to bring out the garbage, right? And I have the innate fear that I'm going to accidentally, out of like just habit, lock the door on the way out, not have my phone with me, and then have no way back in because I can't call.
We could borrow a phone.
But I'm not thinking that rationally in that moment. Like I said, we're talking irrational.
Yeah.
I'm a worrier by nature, but
You're
just
a
not about.
worrywart.
I am, but not about things like I always make the joke. It's like, look, it's like when I'm in an airplane, if it's gonna fall out of the sky, it's gonna there's no point in being afraid of that.
There's also you'd have no control over it.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Like I'm more worried about the things I can control and then don't manage to do it.
Yeah. A lot of these phobias just.
Ooh, fear of not having music. Yes. Fear of not having my headphones.
You know
if
what?
that's a fear, then yes.
Recently, I saw that there's like an actual study, not like I believe all studies I see or anything, but it's like a study that says, you know, people who are not interested in music are like exponentially higher in IQ.
People who are not
like
interested,
once you get to 145 IQ
they
or
just don't
higher,
care about music.
they like basically don't listen to music. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. Because they don't need any, like they find their thoughts entertaining.
I wonder if Terrence Howard listens to music. Did you see?
I listen to podcasts instead of music at this point. I got tired of music a long time ago.
But that's what I used to do. I used to listen to a lot of podcasts, and then I went back to music. I think it's part of doing this for work. Like, I don't like the idea of like doing, like listening to the stuff that we talk about, because that's the stuff that would interest me.
Yeah.
Like,
I just listen to totally unrelated things, actually.
Yeah.
Like advice lines, and I listen to theology podcasts.
A lot of, I know.
Or
that,
like maybe politics.
I know that Reddit stories are very big on podcasts now.
Really?
Yeah, people love Reddit stories.
Like you can just read those. You don't need to listen to someone else tell it to you. Plutophobia, fear of money. I don't know why anyone would have that.
That would be, I mean, if anybody could have that, that's me.
They may fear wealthy people as well.
Oh, I mean, that's just pathetic. Like that's worse. Those are the people that end up being taxed the rich.
Xanthophobia, the fear of the color yellow.
No.
That's stupid. Ablutophobia, fear of bathing. Yikes.
No. The best, so over the holidays, I think I skated twice a day every day. So I took like 3 showers a day.
Optophobia, the fear of opening your eyes. Come on now. Like everyone does that every 2 seconds.
Yes.
Globophobia, the fear of balloons. That's bizarre.
Remember when you did the helium Superchats?
Yeah, we should bring that back.
Surprised you didn't die.
No, I mean, I didn't feel faint or anything. If I did, I would have stopped. That was a fun episode.
Andrina in the chat says certain shades of yellow make her uncomfortable.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. There are colors that have psychological effects. I mean, that's why they've tried out like pink walls.
It's why red is always associated with fast food.
Or yellow.
Yep, red and yellow. In-N-Out, McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yep. Raising Cane's.
Seems to make sense. We've got this is gonna be hard. Let me try this.
I like the one that's like
hippopotomonstrosesquip.
Fear of long words.
Doliophobia.
Fear of long words.
That was not. I didn't get it.
Right? Fear of long words.
Ephemophobia is the fear of adolescence.
The fear of long words one is funny because it's like, have you ever seen the meme where it lists that out and says the guy who named the phobia in its Skeletor?
That's funny.
The other one is the fear of palindromes is a palindrome, if you look it up.
Oh, that's cool.
Who the hell is scared of palindromes?
That's a deep cut. Vestophobia, the fear of clothing.
Not me. I mean, yeah, not me.
I don't know. They're just making things up now. Decidophobia, the fear of making decisions. Okay, that's it. I'm done.
Okay, look. I'm definitely somebody who likes to pawn off the decisions on someone else. Yeah.
You don't like to decide where to eat.
No.
Oh, that's the one thing that you will make a decision about.
No, I don't like. But here's the thing. I'm always that person who's like, if somebody wants to go do something, I'm like, yeah, let's go do it. Like, very rarely do I want to be the one who has to make that choice.
Okay.
Let's go back. Let's finish the super chat.
I got
and guys,
distracted.
let's get to that third crisis party before we call it a day.
Corey Anderson said, as a Protestant, the Vatican is one of the most beautiful buildings I've ever seen. The Pietà is the most beautiful sculpture. Go Mary. It is moving. I definitely want to. I mean, that's like, if you're Catholic, like that's.
I thought the Pietà was a painting.
It's a sculpture.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's been painted. That's like an ultimate goal of mine. I definitely want to go to the Vatican.
Dustin the Wind says Brett always chooses Taco Bell. No.
That's
not always.
You're gonna go to Sheetz and get the Sheetz tacos if you're.
First of all, I haven't had that in months. Yesterday, I was in Frederick and I saw a billboard for Sheetz tacos.
They're trying to shill the.
They're trying
tacos.
to
Nobody
get you
wants them
to eat. They're like, look,
they're starting to give them away for free.
We can't live off Brett's taco revenue. We've got to get more people to to buy them.
Shane H. Wilder said, as someone who does stuff on the internet, I really would like to go to his canonization myself. I'd have to renew my passport, though. I might, too.
I do have a fear of being misunderstood. I don't know if that has a name.
Everyone has that.
I don't like I don't like it when you very clearly explain something and somebody just purposely takes it the wrong way.
Yeah, but sometimes I really think, especially being misinterpreted on the internet or in comment sections, they really don't intend to misunderstand you.
But that's the thing, it prevents me from posting about things because you could say it in a quippy fashion that's actually fun, that actually gets the point across. But my fear is the person who just either doesn't get it on purpose or doesn't get it. I don't want to have to go into further detail to explain it.
Yeah, you don't need to spoon feed things to people.
I hate that. So I just don't, most of the time I just don't say anything.
Sometimes silence is a choice for your own peace.
Honestly, most of the time, yes.
Not That Jon Stewart said, as an agnostic, the Vatican is worth seeing. The art, architecture, and engineering that went into that place is really impressive. And you're in Rome, which is also awesome. Hashtag Roman Empire. The Roman Empire is my Roman Empire.
There you go.
Shane H. Wilder said, I thought everyone knew PewDiePie created racism. Don't you remember history class where you were taught that PewDiePie founded the KKK?
I remember that.
Yeah, it's true. Holy Hand Grenade said, Mary, do you like VeggieTales? Yeah. I was raised on VeggieTales.
I buy it.
Drewish AF said, and wokies are the first to hurl slurs in traffic.
I also heard recently, I read an article that posited the question to everyone, is Sith a slur that was said by the Jedi to ostracize people?
Who said that?
It was, I have the article here somewhere. I wonder if it's, I think I deleted it when we were trying to problem solve or troubleshoot the computer.
We're going to have to talk about that, aren't we?
It was like a week ago. It's probably too late now.
Sith is a slur.
Sith is a slur.
Great. Red Snow said anything over 25 to 30 feet can kick rocks.
In relation to what?
Fear of heights, I'm guessing.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, if you fall, it's just, I guess it sucks because it's a long way to...
Yeah. The height that you need to fear is the one that won't kill you.
But just breaks your legs.
Yeah.
I love that there's like this scene in The Mentalist where this mentally disturbed person gets on top of a bridge and Jane gets out like a megaphone. He goes, if you're going to jump far. If you just fall, it's just going to break your legs and you're going to live. Jump out.
It's comic relief.
Yep.
That's Stanzatastic said, I feel like the Final Destination movies help create phobias of doing anything.
Well, it's like, everyone, it's when you're driving behind the logs that are strapped to the back of the semi, right? Mm-hmm. And everyone's afraid that they're going to break loose and
It's happened.
Yeah.
It's not irrational to fear that.
I was like a couple of feet away from a dude who got, did I ever tell this story? Like, so I used to drive for a medical supply company. So I drive all over the state. And I was this is back in Minnesota. And it's later at night. And this guy just tries crossing a highway and gets hit by a motorcycle.
Like he was walking.
Yes, he was walking across the highway.
Not even running?
He was just walking across and he gets hit by a motorcycle. And the motorcycle crashes and hits another car. And I was like 2 cars behind.
Yikes. Did you keep going? Or
No, we stopped.
What went down?
Called 911 and eventually just cops. It was brutal. And that was just one of those things like I never followed up on it to figure out why this guy was.
It's probably better that you didn't.
Yeah. But.
I mean, he must have been drunk or something.
Yeah. It was a long time. It was like 2012. Not a pleasant thing to see.
Yeah, no. Corey Anderson said Carter PCC needs a closeout song with a Timcast Media logo overlay pronto. Also, can y'all have Carter and HCB on again? Did we have them on at the same time?
If we could they might have, maybe when you were out of town, they might have done an episode together. If we could wrangle them from Freedomistan to come out here for an episode.
See, now the logistical concerns arise. But if anything, we're trying to hide the Timcast branding so that we don't, repel anybody, right?
It's in the top...
But see, nobody even sees that, when they click on the video, they don't even see it.
Yeah, in a perfect world, you wouldn't need to come here from Timcast to watch this show. The idea is that you would be, it's good enough on its own.
Thank you. I think that is the case, at least for our the people watching our segments.
That would be the hope.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Clunt Westwood.
Better than Clint Eastwood. Clunt.
Said, hey, Brett, here from IG, did you have memory issues when coming off opioid? I need to kick this stuff, and I want to know if anything was permanent.
Look, I can't, I would like to think that, there's probably been some memory issues for me. I do think that's true. I've also hit my head skating in the past, but not
that as well.
Not so many times that it would likely be the cause of something like that. Yeah. I don't know how, like, it would depend on how long you've been using them, your frequency, you know, the amount, all that stuff matters. Check out rehab facilities and look into that. And I didn't do a 12-step program. I did what's called the health realization model, which was a different type of rehab facility. But I also did cognitive behavioral therapy when I got out of rehab. But to this day, yeah, I mean, there are points in this show where I wish my memory was sharper. I actually mentioned it on a Friday episode the other day where it's like, there are days where I'm like mentioning something or I'm talking about a story and a name just won't come to me. And I never had that problem growing up, but I can't say for sure that is why, but I'm sure that it played a role.
I think
there are memory, but the thing is like there are ways to work on your long-term memory. Like there are apps that have been created to work, you know, to keep your memory sharp, and actively pursuing different interests is a great way to do that. It's one that I don't do enough. I find that when I spend time dabbling in other hobbies or reading about things that are outside of what we do or listening to media that's different from the stuff that I normally consume, whether it's because I'm using different parts of my brain, that it feels like it's sharper in those periods. But that's a lifelong thing, and you have to actively pursue that every day.
Yeah. I think
do you ever have trouble with
more
your
so the internet is really messing up my memory.
Like
I don't know if it has to do with the internet or not, but I have conversations in my dreams that later on, I swear I have no idea whether that conversation actually happened. Like it's getting kind of freaky. Like I don't know if I actually said that to someone. Or if that was something I said in my dream. And then I might like accidentally reference it to them.
I mean, that happens with
I'm like, I was just telling you this. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, I'm losing my mind.
That happens to me. We literally come across so much information every day that I don't know. Like I don't have time to double check, triple check everything. So a lot of times I'll avoid saying something because I'm not 110% sure if that's true or not.
We're going crazy. It's fine.
So it's like,
fine.
I'll reference stuff and I'll be like, that's right? And I'm not sure. It's just the side effect of living on the internet. And if I could do one thing better, if there's one thing that I should be doing better, it's that I should be spending way less time on the internet. Like I do have a terrifying fear of sitting still. I do not sit still well.
It's just not really even a fear. It's just you're incapable.
I'm incapable of it these days. And a lot of that is because like, look, I'll be watching TV. I'll be like, I used to be able to sit through so much when I was on drugs.
Well, when you're old, you're going to be glad that you were moving around so much. It's good for you.
It's like over the weekend, I get up at 10 or 11. I would go skate for a couple of hours. I'd come home, shower, clean around the apartment, watch TV for like 20 minutes. I'm like, nope, can't do it. Got to get out, go skating. Usually after the second time I go skating, I can then come back, take another shower, and at least relax for a little bit. Even then, sometimes I'm like, maybe I'll go to the store and get a snack just because it gets me out of the house.
That's good.
But a lot of that's because I spent a lot of time just comatose from drugs. So it's like I didn't learn how to sit still with my thoughts in a way. I did better, like right out of rehab, when I had those cognitive behavioral techniques that I was using more frequently. I'm better at employing them when it's time to go to sleep. Like when I know I have to go to bed, I'm better at doing that. But when it comes to just sitting still, I'm not good at it.
Yeah. Shane H. Wilder said, I have a paranoia of elevators. Then again, I was also one where the doors kept opening and closing and then it dropped. Yeah. I still use them though.
My dad was in a serious elevator accident.
That is crazy.
They just kept opening on them. My dad was in a very serious elevator accident back when he was he's still working for my dad worked for the Army Corps of Engineers, and he fell like 5 floors or something. He was out of work for like 6 months. But it's like
what a nightmare.
At 6 floors or beyond is like when it like destroys your spine or whatever.
Oh my gosh.
But it took him forever to rehab and get healthy again.
If you think about it, a lot of these things that we use on a daily basis are very dangerous.
Yep.
That Stanzatastic said trypophobia is a great horrible one too.
I don't know what that one is.
It's the fear of like clusters of holes. Look it up. Look it up. You'll see all these images and you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. It's disgusting. Just like holes that are close together. Like I don't even know.
Oh, yeah.
There's a plant, right? There's a plant that looks like that.
They used to use those pictures at the bottom of like ads and stuff to like freak people. Yeah. Yep.
Corey Anderson said, I've
got that. I've got that one. Okay. Yeah, that's gross.
Trypophobia.
That's disgusting.
Corey Anderson said,
it's because it looks like some type of flesh-eating disease.
It is. Yeah. I have a fear of getting my junk caught in my zipper. Thank you for sharing.
Very reasonable fear.
Okay, that's like saying like I fear falling to my death. Like that's just something that nobody wants to do anyway. Yeah. Red Snow said, "Is there a fear of life, or is that sewer slide?" A fear of life?
A fear of being alive?
If you have that,
probably those people that turn into the ones who are like, "I didn't ask to be born." Dorks.
Yeah, they didn't ask for my consent. The Rumbling said, I have trypophobia. It's a massive yuck.
Yeah, that's disgusting. I'm with you on that one. I found one.
Or like hair in food. I mean, that's an obvious one, but it gives me the ick. Corey Anderson said, what is the fear of seeing ugly naked people in public? I definitely have that.
Understandable.
Well, you don't have to see them naked, but they are going to be ugly.
Just don't go to any nude beaches.
Yeah. Shane H. Wilder said, I don't listen to as much music as I used to, mostly podcasts. I spent a weekend just binging Shameless Potpourri. Also, here's a random phobia. Mortuequus the fear of ketchup. Weird. Okay. I have no idea why it has that name. Wodenshot said rhinomatophobia, fear of not having a shiny nose. What? Wait, fear of having a shiny nose or fear of not having a shiny nose?
One must work hard to have a shiny nose, I suppose.
Do people want their noses to be shiny? I don't understand. No Lie Bowtie said I think Finding Nemo gave me submechanophobia.
There you go.
The Rudder. Yeah, I see that. Pop Culture Junkie said, I expanded my vocabulary because I had a crippling fear of being misunderstood.
I feel you.
Well, it's still a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Red Snow said, can I get some devil horns from Brett?
Oh, it's really funny. But now when I do I can almost close my...
Don't damage your finger.
I can almost close my my finger the whole way. There's a $20 there. At least I assume that's 20 from Evan.
Oh, Evan Galliz sent Canadian money. He said, I have sphexophobia. It's hard not to look like a wuss.
I don't know what that is.
What? Sphexophobia. A fear of wasps? Is that it? Well, I definitely have that.
I was it like not that long ago I killed a wasp in here.
Yeah.
Right?
I have no idea how it got in here, but I mean, I understand that completely. High Voltage 75.
I feel like these types of fears should be broken. It's the same way that we look at the ick. Like the ick is supposed to be something. It's not it's not the same thing as a turnoff.
So there's a difference between an irrational and a rational fear.
Correct. It's like an ick would be. It's not like when a dude. What's an example of one that gets commonly misunderstood as an ick?
Being rude to waitstaff.
Okay,
You're like, oh, that's an ick. It's not
an
an ick.
ick is like he ties his shoes funny.
Yeah.
And it's a turnoff.
Right.
Yeah.
Fear of heights or whatever. Like that's a rational fear. My fear of studio logos.
Not rational.
Not rational. Or it could be, and I just haven't found out why yet. Hi, Vulture75. Can't sit still, no offense, but I hope I'm never next to you on a plane, Brett.
I do pretty okay on planes.
I think it's all the noise that like keeps you satiated.
Yeah, I do pretty. It's more a thing where like. Plus, it's
all the ambient noise.
Sometimes you have to like. It's about accepting your situation, right? At home, I don't have to accept the situation of boredom. I can go do something else. On a plane,
journal.
Ugh. I have a fear of writing. Like at home, I can choose to go do other things. On a plane, I don't get up.
I just realized I have another irrational fear that I've had for a long time. I can't sit somewhere where like a pen is like pointing at me, like on a table. Like I have to
change
turn it away.
the pen. Yeah, it's like when I was pointing out when we watched that episode of the show, and I was like, "Oh, look, he actually handed his firearm off to his superior in the proper way. He didn't put the gun facing the guy with the muzzle facing the dude's chest. He held it barrel down and gave it to him by the grip."
Trigger discipline on your pens, please.
Yes, don't just have it pointing at someone randomly.
Shane H. Wilder said the elevator I was on only dropped one floor. I immediately hit the ground to brace myself. I was fine, but took the stairs the rest of the day.
Don't blame you.
Yikes.
Don't blame you. And there's one more there.
Shane H. Wilder, you should fear wasps. They remember faces. Is that true?
That's terrifying.
Ew. I hate it even more.
All right, that's all of them, guys. And now we've learned a lot about random fears today.
We've learned about ourselves.
Yes.
This was a group therapy session.
It has been quite a learned day.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, guys.
It was nourishing. It was nourishing.
I have a fear of the word
involved.
nourishing.
It was nourishing content.
Ugh, that's awful. Guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? Go and do it right now. Mary, let everyone know where they can find you after you read this last one.
There is one more super chat from Ben Tomsky. Anatidaephobia is the fear that somehow, somewhere, a duck is watching you. Come on, you're just making this up.
I have
right?
mochaphobia. How about that? Scared of Mocha the cat.
That's a rational fear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mocha is somewhere being annoying.
And we got another from Red Snow. I paid for devil horns and got nothing.
I did devil horns. There you go.
Okay, but what about with your broken finger?
I can definitely do it with that one because this one, it only works that way.
Okay, you guys can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived. I have an irrational fear of you not hitting the like button, though. You have one more?
Non-like buttonophobia.
Shane H. Wilder said the phobias are the friends we made along the way.
Maybe the phobias are the friends we made along the way.
Yeah.
Woden Shot says, Brett, are you coming back to Ballers? They have to send me a link, bro. I'm also usually like on Friday nights nowadays. Like I don't go to bed early, but I got like stuff going on. But I think you said earlier, you said they might move the time to a little bit earlier. If they did, I could definitely pop in there. So let them know to throw me a link and I will try to show up. Speaking of streams though, I am going to be streaming live with Colonel Kurtz tonight. We haven't done that in quite some time.
So she's making her official return.
I think she does other streams, but she just asked if you wanted to do a stream
I remember
tonight.
you told me that she was going on some kind of YouTube hiatus for a little bit.
She wasn't. We just didn't do the Monday streams anymore, but we are going to do that tonight from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. So you should tune into that. Don't be irrationally afraid of it. It is a lot of fun, so please tune in. If you would like to follow me, Instagram and Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. PCC is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, noon Pacific. Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify if you would prefer to listen rather than watch this show. If you want to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook and not TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Maybe what I have is an irrational fear of not doing the outro properly.
That's a rational fear.
Perfectly rational.
Yeah.
With that being said, guys, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.